So it looks like there's a defiant Islington local Labour Party as they backed Jeremy Corbyn. Now there's a motion that said that Corbyn's commitment and service to the people was passed by 98% of attendees. The motion read, "This CLP would like to thank our sitting MP, Jay Corbyn, for his commitment and service to the people and want to express that it should be our democratic right to select our MP." Now, Corbyn said that he loves his job and he wants to continue representing as an MP, as he should, but I wonder what Keir Starmer's response to this would be. We know that Keir Starmer has tried to push draconian policies on local parties, trying to stitch up selections, so of course, he's definitely going to try and do something here. But what do you expect? Jeremy Corbyn has been an MP for Islington North for 40 years, and he's served his constituency well. Even detractors of Corbyn, even the Tories have said, he's been pretty damn good for his local constituency. You wouldn't expect anything different. And I'm glad they're doing this, even if it's just a meek motion. It does show that it has support, and some people won't be backing down. I don't know what this means materially, probably nothing. Corbyn would not be standing as a Labour MP there. Starmer's made that very clear. But the question is he going to be an independent? And we still don't know. Corbyn said he still wants to be an MP. I don't think he wants to commit to being independent. Now, I would love for that to happen. But it's not just about justice. I mean, he was unfairly barred as an MP because through the processes, Corbyn was suspended over his comments and then readmitted to the party. Then Keir Starmer just came in and just barred him as an MP. But it's about serving your local constituency. If you're a politician, if you're an MP, you say you care about your local constituents. Well, Jeremy Corbyn has been a champion for Islington North. So if you get into politics and you say you care about your local communities, then Jeremy Corbyn is the perfect person to represent Islington North, as he's done for 40 years. Now, this is what Jeremy Corbyn said in response. "Today, I'm focused on doing what I've done for the last 40 years, campaigning to end poverty, homelessness, and inequality on behalf of the people of Islington North." Oh, what a terrible human being. He cares about homelessness and inequality, something that the Labour Party seemingly doesn't give a shit about anymore. Now, a Labour source said that this vote has no weight at all. I mean, we can all agree it doesn't have any material benefits to it. But of course, the Labour right needs a response to play it down anyway. Now, there's talks that Sam Tarry might be standing in Islington North. Again, this is all whispers, but it's worth pointing out. Now, I think that in any case, that's probably the best situation we could find ourselves in. Sam Tarry was, of course, sacked as an MP for standing on the picket line. I know. A Labour MP standing up for trade unions. Now, knowing Keir Starmer, he'd be pissed off about that. Again, this is not confirmed, but Keir Starmer would love to put a right-winger in this seat because Keir Starmer wants to put right-wingers everywhere. So some might think, oh, well, if we put another lefty in Corbyn's seat, that's Keir Starmer compromising, throwing an olive branch. Let me tell you this, that is not what it would be. Keir Starmer doesn't want to do that. And let's be honest, is there really that much pressure from the left? I mean, the Socialist Campaign Group, they've got some good MPs, but they are so weak. Even still, Sam Tarry, if he does replace as Corbyn, is he a viable option? I mean, I think he's all right, but I suppose some on the left feel that the Socialist Campaign Group hasn't really stood by Corbyn. And would someone like Sam Tarry, who, again, has offered meek support for Jeremy Corbyn, would he be strong enough to resist Starmer? I mean, I have all sympathies for these kind of thoughts, but again, Keir Starmer has such draconian control over the party. There really isn't much the left of the Labour Party can actually do. I'm less inclined to attack the SCG as much as some people on the left because I know how little power they actually have. And if they veer off course too much, then they themselves will be kicked out. And I don't want that to happen. One thing the Labour right are really good at doing is biding their time and waiting. Now, under the Corbyn years, the Blairites, the Labourites, Liz Kendall got 4.5% of the vote in the 2015 election, leadership election. They were pretty much powerless in a way. I mean, they still had control of a lot of the bureaucracy. This is what we saw in terms of the Labour leaks. The left was somewhat dominant in the party as a whole because it had so many members. But what did they do? The Blairites stayed in there. They didn't leave. I mean, they did as much as possible to frustrate the leadership, but they stayed. Now it's come full circle and the Labour right are in charge now. So maybe it's bad advice to ask the left-wing MPs just to bide their time. Hopefully Keir Starmer doesn't stay for too long, although if he wins the next general election, he may be Prime Minister, maybe leader for the next 10 years. But a lot can happen in politics and there's no point predicting anything. Now, if Corbyn stands as an independent, what's his chances of winning? I'd say almost zero. I'm not saying zero because he is so popular, but it's worth noting that the Labour Party in Islington North has a huge majority, so Corbyn would have to eat in so much of that majority in order to win. But is it worth trying? Yeah, definitely. I think it's disgraceful what's happened to Jeremy Corbyn, and most of you who are watching agree with that. So I fully back him standing as an independent. And even Jeremy Corbyn doesn't win, but takes like 10,000 of the votes. that's still significant to show that there is real support for Jeremy Corbyn out there. Do you think that Jeremy Corbyn should stand as an independent? Do you think he should step aside and maybe a lefty like Sam Tarry could take the Islington North seat? Do you think he'd win? Do you think he'd have a good chance? Who knows? But I think it's clear there's still support for Jeremy Corbyn out there. And many of these people who supported Corbyn's leadership are looking at other parties, as we saw in the local election results, where smaller parties did really well, such as the Greens. But drop a comment below, let me know what you think.